Hi guys, and thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Local Legends, the podcast. Today I'm joined by Adam from Wesley Rural Fire Brigade. Adam, thanks for joining me.
No, thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Really cool setup. We're just having a look around some of the posters that you can actually see behind us. The podcast won't be able to see, obviously, but on the video, some of the posters. Just quickly, tell us a little bit about those. I'm more intrigued about that than anything.
Yeah, so look, the brigade was formed in 1964,
Yeah.
And so every time we got a new fire truck, we took a photo of it and stuck it up on the wall.
Love it.
The only thing we don't have is a photo of the current truck, so
Okay.
we'll have to sort that one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea is that we don't forget where we've come from,
Yep.
and how long we've been around and serving the community. So,
Yep.
from the good old days of having the Bedfords through to today, where we have modern fire appliances that turbocharged and can get us where we need to quickly.
Yeah. No, I love that. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, I guess your role within the brigade, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the Senior Deputy Captain here at Wesley Rural Fire Brigade. So I look after the operations of the brigade. And we have been around since 1964, as I said. And we get out into the community and do everything from hazard reductions, which puts the smoke in the air and protects people from bushfire. We go to motor vehicle accidents and house fires.
Yep.
But also, and I think most importantly, is we get out into the community and engage with them about preparing themselves for bushfire, and making sure that particularly in schools and preschools, introducing the concept of a firefighter to children, so they're not scared of us when they have to come and ask us for help.
Yeah, okay. So you get a better understanding for them what they need to do if ever in a situation like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that they're familiar with us, so that if for instance we go and their house is on fire, they're not scared of coming to us for help.
Yeah. And so what are some of the things that you say to, I guess, some of the kids when you go and see them, also adults as well, and sort of some basic tips that people could put into place?
Yeah, look, I guess, when we go and present, we talk about bushfires and we talk about home fire safety. So, we do the old stop, drop, cover and roll, and get down low and go, go, go. But we also talk about the fact that we're surrounded by this beautiful bushland, and we just have to be conscious of, the fact that because we live where we live, we can be subject to bushfire. So what can we do locally? What can we do around our homes to, obviously prepare ourselves for that?
Yeah, okay, and the preparation around that.
Absolutely.
And you were saying before about the lack of rain, essentially, that we've had over the past sort of few months. That winter period, you were saying, is pretty typical for that, though? Yeah,
so look, the winter period was warmer and drier than it has been for some time. And look, the concern that we have is that through a warm and dry winter, even though we've had 130 mils of rain in the last week, that's been absorbed by the ground, and in a week's time, we'll be back to doing hazard reductions. It will be dry enough for fire to be carried in the landscape. So, look, that's concerning for us, and that's why we believe that there should be, us going out there into the community and saying, just because we've had this rain, don't become complacent. But also, it's not about fearing the fact that we may be one day threatened by bushfire, but just stopping for a second and thinking about, well, what can I do? What can I do in my street with my neighbours, at home with the family, to make sure that we're prepared for bushfire if one was to ever come down the valley and threaten us.
Yeah, and you're talking about that Pennant Hills Park area. Was somewhat of a concern, like not to alarm anyone, obviously.
No, that's right. And look, it's not about being alarmed, that we go out there every year and we educate people, and we have been quite fortunate in terms of not having, too many local fires in the, recent history. But I guess, we just have to be conscious that, there are areas like Pennant Hills Park, like the Browra Valley, Regional Park, where there is a lot of bushland. We can't hazard reduce at all. And unfortunately, if we get a afternoon of dry lightning that comes through during summer, that may very well start a bushfire.
Yeah, it's just as simple as that, isn't it? It can really start just like that, and it doesn't take manpower or anything like that to start fire, does it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell us about what people can do in preparation. We spoke briefly about what someone could do as a human, but like with the people in their street, their neighbours, their property. Tell us a few tips around that. Yeah,
look, I mean, coming together and deciding that as a group of 2 or 3 or 4 houses, getting together, a weekend, a month, in the lead up to summer, and doing things like making sure that your lawn's mowed, making sure your gutters are clean, looking at your overhanging trees and being able to, look at, if a fire was to start and embers were to drop into those trees, could that start another fire and threaten houses? When we turn into a street during a bushfire, we actually triage properties, which ones are prepared and can provide our firefighters with protection, and which ones are not prepared and may not be savable. So I guess from our perspective, and also the community community. It's about making sure that we are prepared as a community as a whole, so that we have the best opportunity to defend. When the time comes.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. So how do you determine what properties are going to be able to protect you guys? Like, how does that work? That's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, look, we go into a street and we look at where the fire's coming from, how fast is it moving, what are the conditions of the day, and then we look at the houses that may be able to provide protection to our crews, because number one priority is our crews on the trucks. So if we go to a street and there are houses that haven't been prepared and are overgrown and will present a challenge to us to defend, and then there's a row of houses that are completely defendable because they've spent the time to prepare, then more than likely we would look at those houses as being the defendable ones. And not saying that we'd discount the others, but in terms of those nightmare scenario days, we'll be looking at, is it safe to put our firefighters in next to that house? And if it's not, then we will move on to the next house. Yeah,
it's even important for the community to make sure we're looking after you guys as well, like doing the work that you're doing. The least that we could do is obviously look after our families, look after our property, but also look after you guys. So in some situations, if there is a fire, then they can bunker down in certain properties so they can use those.
That's right. And we strongly urge our crews when we go out and do training to remember that if they get injured, then they can't help the community. So, if we put a crew into a situation and they get injured, then we take that whole crew out and they're not able to get on the truck and go and help people. So I think that we just need to remember that as a community as well, that we'll do everything we can when the time comes, but sometimes we have to make decisions that are best for our firefighters.
Oh, definitely. You got to protect yourselves as well whilst you're looking after everyone, and we appreciate that. So talking about the awareness around the fire season, we've got the open day coming up on the 14th of September.
We do.
You've been doing that for a little while now?
We've been doing that for as long as I can remember. I've been in the brigade for 10 years. I reckon it's been going for more than double that, maybe triple that. I don't know. But look, it's going to be bigger and better than ever. And we have a new community engagement officer. We have to give a shout out to Josh.
So I've heard.
That's right. No, he's fully into it, which is great. And he's organised a massive day. We'll be here from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. on the 14th. And there will be activities for everyone. There will be a fire and rescue technical rescue truck coming to demonstrate the jaws of life, how they cut up and remove people from cars that that are compacted. We'll be having face painters. We'll have a coffee van. The barbecue that we have going every year.
The famous barbecue.
Barbecue. That's right. And then live fire demonstrations. And where we're sitting at the moment will actually be a smokehouse for the kids. So we'll fill this room with smoke, which promotes that get down low, go message in terms of if you're standing up where we are sitting at the moment, you may not be able to see in front of you, but if you get down under that smoke, then you'll be able to see how to exit the room.
Got it. Super cool. Okay, and we'll also be doing a colouring in competition. So I got those printed off today. I thought they looked pretty cool.
They are awesome. Absolutely awesome.
So they'll be at Thornley West and Normanhurst West public schools in the local area, plus at our office down at Pennant Hills Road. And what it will be is kids, adults are more than welcome to join in on that. Why not? So you can just go and colour those in, drop them back into the office by the 13th of September, and we'll get all those picked up and we'll do a little prize and draw on the day. So we have an iPad for the first prize and a couple of other gifts for the second and third prize. So
I'm looking forward to it. I don't think we've done a colouring competition for several years now, so I'm actually looking forward to it.
Well, that was courtesy of actually I think that was my idea. I won't give Josh other Josh
we'll give it to you.
Thank you, and on camera as well, so in case Josh tries to take it. Okay, so and tell me about the history of Wesley Rural Fire Brigade. It's been in operation since the 60s, I think you were saying?
1964. Started as Ellawira Bushfire Brigade, and has gone through the process, of obviously being locally driven as part of local council through to the Rural Fire Service that it is today. And look, I mean, we've always been keen and active in the community, and always been representative of the community we serve. And I guess that the modern day version of Wesley Rural Fire Brigade is we've got two what we call heavy tankers as fire trucks, and that allow us to put in 2 full crews into local fires, or have them stand by at station on those days when there's increased fire danger. And you know, we have a crew of probably 55 members now, and we've also just brought on 20 brand new members as well. So that will take some time to get them trained up and in for the season. But I think that it really is about us being able to get out there and help the community that we live in, because you know, in this day and age, I think that volunteering you know, is more important than ever, and being able to give back to the community that you live in is a really cool kind of thing to go and do.
Yeah, and help your neighbours out in a slightly different way. Like
Exactly.
You're going to help neighbours out by getting ready for the fire season,
That's
but actually
right.
being involved in the fire brigade is taking that to a whole nother level.
Absolutely.
So, like, how do people get involved? Someone's listening, someone's watching. What should they do?
Well, they can get onto our Facebook page. They can just go and search for Wesley Rural Fire Brigade and send us a message. They can come down on open day on the 14th of September. We're here on Saturday afternoons, so they can come and just knock on the door. And yeah, they just have to have a chat with us basically and say, hey, I'm keen on joining. And then we go through a process, you know, of going through the whole interview process and looking at, you know, what role, because it's more than just firefighting. So if people don't want to be a firefighter, they can go and work in the communications brigade, which is talking on the radio. They can go to the catering brigade, which is, you know, the most important brigade. I'll give them a massive shout out because, you know, they feed our firefighters in the field. So without that sustenance, then the fireys just wouldn't be able to go out and do what they do. So there's really a role for everyone. And like I said, if you're not keen on firefighting, then you can support us behind the scenes.
That is really cool. I didn't even know there was that whole catering side of things, which makes sense as well. If you're out on site, you're out there,
and logistics as well. You're taking stuff out to the field that we use, like you know, massive buoy walls full, you know, that we fill with water in remote areas. You know, we've got remote area firefighting teams as well. So there's really, you know, a role for everyone.
Super cool. Okay, well, I appreciate you joining us, guys. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Until next week, see you soon.
Thank you.